often being touted as the best top laner in the league these days. So let's see how it's all going to pan out. We're into Champion Select though. EDG banning away Karma, Ornn, and Galio. Surprised by the Karma that banned there, Dagda.
I am a little bit surprised, but it is something that's risen up. It's actually been talked about a lot in the off-season about her flexibility in draft is really frustrating. Support, mid, and even top lane. So it's just about getting rid of the flexibility. And as always, paying respect to Morgan with that Galio ban.
Yep, Teacherma having his Galio taken away from him.
Teacherma even, sorry.
Morgan's more of a Sett kind of guy, less of the Galio at the top lane. On the other side, WE looking very much towards JunJia with these bans. Graves and Trundle taken off the board, and then obviously the Virus is kind of a must ban if you're on the red side at this point. Kalista, though, the first pick here for EDG.
Kalista has become the go-to when Varus is off the board, although we have seen a little bit tending away from Aphelios or even towards the Ezreal or the Senna. So Kalista will be locked in nice and early here. And I like the way WE have started off with that Trundle ban, because one of the big things for JunJia has been these tank junglers, the Sejuanis, the Trundles. Trundle's the only one at the moment that kind of fits into that meta style that's still the big beefy tank. So I'm curious to see what JunJia will decide to take into that jungle role.
I'm just excited to see this Renekton for Morgan. We were just saying how he's probably going to go for something defensive, something that can play weak side. He's gone Renekton. He's gone aggressive in that top lane. And I'm curious what Aodi will go for. Whether it is a Kalista top, Audi's not really a player that I'd expect to see Kalista top out of, but I'm willing to be surprised. Beishang going to lock in that Aphelios for Jiumeng, and we're going to have Sett and a Nidalee from JunJia to answer.
So this is super interesting. If you cast your minds back to JunJia's very first game in the LPL, he actually went for the Nunu, so this very farm-heavy style, and Nidalee can fit a similar style here where she farms incredibly fast, starts to snowball in her levels, and the reason we're starting to see this tendency towards the farming junglers is because of the XP boost that we saw come in at level 9. You end up just firing so far ahead of the enemy jungler if you're able to just reach that level and continue forward.
That is a deadly combo, though, that we've just seen locked in for WE. Elise with Renekton. That doesn't say we're going to play around Jiumeng in the bottom side. That says we want to snowball Morgan.
And it's an interesting comp to go for, because Elise is a pick that we saw banned quite a lot in the MSC, and I think it was because of this, hey, let's get out onto the map, gank super early, we don't really care if we're losing camps as long as we can get these aggressive plays off, and that will be, as you said, towards Morgan. The synergy there is super strong, and I'd be surprised to see this Sett go up against the Renekton in the top side of the map. Sett has predominantly been moved to the support role now, and especially when you got a Kalista there, she just sets up this Sett super well for aggressive plays.
I love the dramatic difference in drafts we see here versus MSC when the Korean teams are involved, because Thresh made it all the way through to the second ban phase, and things like Renekton are high priority lock-ins here at the LPL. We're back to the ways of the LPL. We're back to the brawls. We're going to see Aurelia banned away alongside that Azir, and now EDG just one ban remains.
I imagine that this is going to be going down towards the support role as well. With the Ezreal not being picked up, I wouldn't be surprised, or I'd be surprised to see the Yuumi come in. It is going to be the Pantheon instead, banned towards Teacherma. This is again more respect towards the WE mid laner, and this is where we're going to have to see what Teacherma has in his wheelhouse. I think you'll still see them pick up the support here, although as we did see in MSC, a lot of the Korean teams were liking to pick up their support a little bit later, get that counter pick, and set themselves up for a really secure bottom lane.
It's worth mentioning Syndra is still open. Syndra's incredibly strong right now, and that was the pick that Teacherma moved to when it came to playoffs, to when he needed to extend his champion pool. Syndra was the champion he lent on. Now EDG, they've got 2 picks to finalize their composition, and it'll kind of finally tell us where some of these picks are going, but I'm suspecting that that Sett is going support.
I would imagine that he is going support, especially with the Aatrox locked in now. But I was wondering what they were going to go for. The Aatrox is you opting into a bad matchup in the top lane, especially where you already talked about the pressure that Elise can put up towards there with the Renekton. I'm surprised to see them go with this. I was expecting maybe instead tending away from the Aatrox and going more towards something like the Mordekaiser, or even so then you can get to that level 6 and make it a 1v1 in the gank scenario or something along those lines, or even going towards the Jason, opting in towards this poke comp instead.
Well, we've got a treat in the mid lane, Dagda. We've got Asol. Obviously, the Syndra was taken away from Teacherma, but he's not afraid of this matchup. He's going Cosmic on us and bringing out his old one trick.
Yeah, this is a treat to behold. He's had 5 games of it in the spring split, and he looked pretty good on most of them. There's a few iffy ones in there, I'm not going to lie, but I'm very excited to see how he will do, especially into what's a pretty difficult matchup, because Syndra's got those long range, she can clear very well, and also setting up the stun for a Nidalee gank is going to be really difficult for Teacherma. I wouldn't be surprised to see this heal swap even over towards a cleanse, just to try and get away from a few of these early ganks.
We'll have to see if the summoners do remain the same, but it's about time that we get underway. The bow's going down on stage. Obviously, no handshakes just yet. We're keeping that a little bit shy, what with the situation in the world. But it's time to kick off the summer split. It's time to get underway here. It's EDG against WE. Battle between two teams that are aspiring for top 4, making it to top 6 in spring. And they're looking to double down and improve as we come into summer.
And it's again WE doubling down on what their strengths have been. Getting Teacherma out, allowing him to roam, setting up these plays. And when you're already looking at what has been a strong combo in the Renekton and the Elise, you add an Aurelion Sol into that mix. Even if you don't want to play towards that top side, cool, you've now got Elise again with this big stun that can come through from the dragon in the mid lane to set up plays towards Hope, to try and kill Meiko. And I think this is again WE looking to just get this ball rolling nice and early against EDG.
We'll see if they can get that ball rolling or if EDG are going to be able to stop them in their tracks and control the snowball. It's time to get into game number 1 of this series as we see the Aurelion Sol come through for Teacherma. I'm looking at him against Scout in the mid lane. So here we go. We're on to the Rift. EDG up against Team WE. And this Syndra pick is super interesting to me because Scout, obviously, he does play the meta stuff. He's more than happy. I'm sure he's got thousands of games of Syndra when it comes to the solo queue and whatever. But when I think of Scout, Syndra is not the first champion that comes to mind. And I do wonder whether this was a matter of we want Syndra on our side or whether it was just to deny Teacherma.
Well, I definitely think Syndra has been a pick for Scout. I mean, don't forget, this guy studied under Faker. The champions that he played coming over in 2016 from Korea was the likes of the Syndra, the Azir, the LeBlanc. These were his main go-to. So even though we haven't seen it for a little while, it's definitely something he's very comfortable on. And I think it's going to help out massively because, as we said, JunJia here on the Nidalee. There's 2 ways you can play the Nidalee. Is having your laners set you up for success and try and kill the enemy laners, or, which I think is going to be more likely here, especially with the electrocute, is trying to get in onto beishang, invade nice and early, get into his face. And when you look towards beishang, he's expecting the exact same. Going for the Conquer on this Elise, you go for this because you realize, hey, look, I'm going to be going 1-for-1. I'm going to be dueling. I need this little bit of extra damage to make sure I'm winning out in those duels.
Yeah, he knows that he's going to have some skirmishes on his hands. Down in the bottom lane, we've already got a skirmish as well as Hope. Stack those Rens up, but didn't get onto the minion quickly enough, so Missing walks away without taking any of that damage. Now they're going to step forward once again. Level 2 on the horizon for both of these bot lanes. I think EDG have the edge here.
EDG as the duo here would definitely be able to control this bottom side. Jiumeng needs time to try and scale, and with Missing playing this Nautilus against the Sett does a great job of just tanking up the hooks and being able to then turn it around with that Haymaker, and a lot of damage is just built into Sett's kit, so it's very difficult for you to try and win it out in these early trades.
Well, beishang already looking to make moves. You were saying it before that this Elise wants to gank, but we've got to fight in the bottom lane. 2v2 here. Meiko and Hope both CC'd. Missing doesn't miss anything, but that's a huge Haymaker to turn it back. Hope is incredibly low. Still has the heal. beishang now moving into the top lane. Morgan's there. Aodi's on the wrong side of the alcove, and Morgan's going to follow him straight on over. He knows it's already done for. In goes the spiders, and in goes first blood for WE.
Big mistake from Aodi. You've got to expect that this is going to be the case. You already knew Morgan was trying to keep that wave somewhere around the middle to set up for beishang coming in. The nice thing here, though, is JunJia has managed to steal away the Raptors while this is all going on, has got in and stolen away one of the Krugs as well. But now we got to be careful for beishang.
Oh, beishang, you're in a whole heap of trouble, my friend. You need to scuttle away. Aodi wants some revenge. They're deciding just the scuttle crab is enough. They knew Morgan was going to make his way over. They decide to back off. Another fight in the bottom lane. These guys will not stop. Straight onto Meiko with the pull, but missing is low. His aftershock is down. Jiumeng flashes away, but he drops. And they might just get missing as well. Jumps forward, and a double kill for Hope. TP now coming through from Morgan. He wants to answer for this one, and Hope is the target. One more auto, but Hope's cutting away. The stun comes through, and Hope goes massive.
It's a disaster for WE. Everyone is trying to kill Hope, but you don't have any hope. Jiumeng and Missing, we already talked about it, do not have enough damage to get through Sett and to get through Hope, especially with the Hail of Blades on this Kalista. She does so much damage in this early stages, and Hope now 3-0, sending Morgan packing back to base. EDG are dictating every single lane.
And that was WE making that play, by the way. That was Morgan opting into that fight, and it just all goes all right. And I have to say, I'm not sure if Kalista was one of the AD carries that got buffed, but he lasted on less than 30 HP there. 10.11 is EDG's savior.
So Kalista's actually one of them that didn't get the health buff,
well,
but she did get buffs, and it does suck overall. But even while this is all going on, the disgusting thing is that JunJia has just been taking every single camp. He got top scuttle, he just got bot scuttle as well, because beishang went in to clear his own. Krugs realized that his entire topside jungle was gone. So JunJia is zooming ahead of beishang. You've now got Hope maybe looking to double down on the pressure they've been putting on bottom side. So realistically, the only place that's even remotely even for WE is that top lane. But Morgan opting to go for the teleport bot has hurt him, giving time for Aodi to get the CS back and to at least even up that side as well.
Oh, good damage coming out there from Jiumeng in the bottom lane. But it has to be said, JunJia right now is over the moon. Look at the farm difference in that jungle. And his lanes are winning without him. As a Nidalee, you just want to farm. You don't really want to be a part of the plays. And when your team is just winning without your involvement, that is the ideal scenario.
Does have to be careful though, because you can see now Morgan and Teacherma trying to get control of this top side with just shoving lanes. They're getting wards in onto JunJia's side, so they're trying to spot out this Nidalee and see if they can catch her out on one of these invades and trips into the enemy jungle.
Try and catch her, but honestly, Nidalee is one of those very slippery champions. It's very difficult to stop her in a tracks, and will quite often be able to just get away with these invades. Meiko wants to make it happen once again. Stun onto Jiumeng. Ignite is there, and the Haymaker as well. There's nothing you can do. The damage is insane.
This is disgusting from the EDG bot lane, and we wanted to see what these teams were going to be capable of. Well, Hope and Meiko making a statement in game number 1 of the LPL, and when you look at how EDG's composition goes, I mean, it was already going to be pretty nasty when you got to these mid-game fights with Syndra, Kalista, and that Aatrox. You've just added a bunch of kills onto this Kalista on top of everything else.
Do you know what? When I was making my notes and I was talking about Hope being one of the pillars of this team, it wasn't because he's just going to dominate the bot lane. That wasn't what I was thinking. Hope and Meiko weren't this duo in spring. If this is the precedent they're setting, I'm excited for what they've got coming in summer.
And this is a very different style of EDG as well, because we talked about them playing towards the top side, getting Aodi snowballing. This is just individual plays that are setting this team up for success. And unfortunately for WE, Jiumeng has been the coin flip. This is the guy you never really know if you're going to get the super high highs or the super low lows. And right now, well, it's low.
It's real low. Apple bottom jeans kind of low right now. But Hope feeling fantastic, and Meiko as well, looking good on this Sett pick. When you think of Meiko, you think of things like the Thresh, but more recently, especially in spring, Meiko not really living up to the name that we know him for. Here, though, looking fantastic on the Sett, and going for the phase rush on Sett as well, not opting into that Omnistone.
Yeah, so a lot of supports are opting to go for the Omnistone because it gives you access to the Nimbus Cloak, because you get access to the Hextech Flash, but it's been a little bit of a back and forth between what people want to do. Meiko opting for the phase rush here. Well, you've already seen the bottom lane. It means you're able to close that gap very, very quickly and keep up that damage and just that lane presence that Sett is so strong for in that support role.
It's working out so far. W rotated up to the top half of the map though, and they're going to go for this Rift Herald. This will be a nice little start for them. But when you look at their history in spring, they're actually 4th in the whole LPL for Herald control.
They are, but this is a really bad call from WE. You're already losing out massively on this bottom side. Now you've rotated Jiumeng and missing up. They've just lost a massive wave on the bottom side. And you've got plates that are going over towards Hope. So unless they're able to make some serious plays happen on this top side, this isn't even going to be remotely close. And even with maybe these turret plates going down top side, I'd argue WE or EDG even have won this trade.
And they're actually not going to drop the Herald just yet, deciding it's going to be used somewhere else a different time. Do you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see them move bot with that. Just try and get some gold onto Jiumeng. Try and even up the gap a little bit, because Hope is just stacking up right now. He's got a call that's halfway done. He's got 3 kills. He's getting tower plates. He's Scrooge McDuck.
And the problem is that even if you answer as Jiumeng and missing with this Rift Herald, you're still sharing the gold. Hope has gone full Scrooge McDuck. He's not sharing any gold. There's no little Timmy that's getting any of this. It is all fully on this AD carry. And Hope, who we highlighted as this massive carry performance for EDG, has been set up for success. And I don't know if anyone remembered, but at one point, Hope had like a 59 KDA on Kalista. Well, he's basically doing that again here coming into summer.
He's looking for a 59 KDA in this game alone. Here we go, Meiko making moves in towards this blue buff. Missing's here. They know about it. I don't think there's anything they could do about it, though. Pulled away, and obviously, Syndra does Syndra things, and you're never getting that blue.
For WE as well, I mean, look at the items here. So, Teacherma is still trying to finish off his first item. Could be going for the Rod of Ages, more than likely going for that water hose, the GLP instead. Jiumeng needs to get up towards his Affinity Edge and a couple of those Zeal items as well before he's really useful. So this is just EDG bullying with the picks they have right now, because Scout and Hope are going to be really strong in these early skirmishes.
All right, here comes the Herald. Morgan's going to be the benefactor here. Teacherma getting involved as well. He wants to get some of those plates for himself, and they're going to be able to trade towers here. And it looks like WE might actually get the first tower of the game, so a little bit of a bonus for them. However, take a look at the top of your screen, because gold overall still massively in favor of EDG.
And as well, that this is again going towards Hope. So we have got to keep our eyes on Hope coming into these team fights. And if you can have someone on WE get onto this Kalista, it could turn the entire tide of the fight. Because don't forget, when you look at WE, their pick is super high. You've got this Elise, you've got the Aurelion Saul that can set up for success. Even if missing with a flash depth charge gets onto Hope, that could signal doom for the EDG AD carry.
And it's worth mentioning, when we look towards the mid lane, it's been completely uninteractive, which between Asol and Syndra you'd expect in the 1v1. But from Teacherma, this is the guy that we know for roaming around the map, making plays happen everywhere. So far, all he's done is move top to get some plate gold. That's about it.
Same coming from beishang, to be honest. I haven't really seen this Elise do particularly much, and EDG did a good job of controlling the early game. I mean, one gank top for beishang, and JunJia took 1.5, let's say, camps. So JunJia is already level 9. beishang got a single gank, successfully, yes, off, but he finds himself 2 levels behind this Nidalee. And that's the problem that we have when you're looking for the Elises, the Lee Sins as well. Champions like Graves, Kindred, Nidalee are able to accelerate their early game so effectively by carrying camps, get to that level 9 point where you get more experience once you hit that level, and you just so quickly accelerate that it's not impossible for the enemy jungler to catch up. And when you get towards the likes of Baron fights or even towards Smite fights, a Dragon, it will always be in Junjia's favor in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're talking XP advantages, yes, there's one level there for JunJia in the jungle. There's also a level in the bot lane for both the support and the AD carry. Hope and Meiko, both a level ahead of their opponents. Not to mention the 30 CS deficit that you see in the bottom lane. The 20 CS deficit, or 30 almost, in the mid lane as well in favor of Scout. This is rapidly falling apart for WE.
Press F to pay respects to LCK, press F to pay respects to WE, because, yeah, this is not the best start for their LPL summer split.
Now, it is worth mentioning that obviously champions like the Asol, champions like the Aphelios in the bottom lane as well do want to scale up. Like, you can see the Rod of Ages there in the inventory for Teacherma. He's also just bought a Dark Seal. So maybe there's some kind of mid-game brawls that we could see coming out from WE that hopefully can change their fate and give us a good competitive first game of the split.
I would have said that the best way to do this is to try and play towards dragons, where you're like, okay, we can pick people coming into these situations. The double CC from beishang and Teacherma, we talked about them being nearly joined to the hip in a lot of plays. Well, that's what they need to do, pick people off, and they're trying to here, but Meiko is not on his own.
Has to be said, though, at 13 minutes with a 3,000 gold lead, EDG looked great, but importantly, this is not standard EDG. This is not the style of play that I was expecting to see come in here. They're not the team that is going to just roll you over during the laning phase and just make absolute mincemeat of you in the mid game. And so far, that's what we're seeing from EDG. Now, the question to me is, how do they snowball this lead? How do they continue to keep this ball rolling?
But definitely Riptile is going to be the next one. I mean, JunJia and Scout will be already securing vision control around here, looking to try and pick off Teacherma as well.
Oh, stun comes on through, and you said he should have gone for the cleanse. Voice of Light keeps him alive, but only just Scout. Desperate to finish it off. There's the spear, dodged by Teacherma. In comes Meiko off to the side as well, but I think Teacherma gets away with his life. Cost him both of his summoners, and it will cost this tower as well.
You can see, though, the Phase Rush Nimbus Cloak is so good at getting you out of these horrible scenarios in Teacherma. Using that speed to just run the hell away from the spears, but Rift Heralds just spawn. JunJia stealing away camps. You can just turn towards this Rift Herald, solo it out. And again, this is EDG just continually dominating in this matchup.
beishang just trying to force Aodi away from this turret, but he's moved away just as the minion waves arrived, so he's going to be happy to just go and collect those minions. The Rift Arrow will go the way of EDG. Scout continues to hammer away at this top tower. Look at the play gold that went into the pocket of Hope. I'm running out of positive things to say for WE.
So what WE need to do right now is to play safe underneath their tier 2s. They're going to end up losing the mid lane thanks to this Rift Herald that'll come down, but if they are able to control that top side jungle, as we talked about, the pick potential super strong, as EDG are coming in to get vision control back, they can find picks, find kills, and look to get back in this game.
Hold that thought, because Aodi, I was going to say is in trouble, but I think he's fine. I don't think he's too worried right now, as he's taking a 1v3 under the tower. Force is missing away. There's a turret shot for Morgan. Aodi just will not go down.
And this is it. beishang missing that cocoon gave Aodi free reign on this bottom side. Not willing to take that fight, especially when the whole idea there is beishang tanks the damage, goes up in the rappel. We've seen it time and time again, but as soon as it's done for, Aodi turns it around. EDG don't even blink an eye.
And this is the team, WE, that we were saying all of last split. It was all about friendship and magic, right? We called them the Star Guardians because they were all about working together. It was about synergy. Where is that synergy, Dagda? Because I'm not seeing it.
I don't know. They obviously didn't watch enough Bob the Builder in their time off. You know, working together, they haven't got the job done. And now, with Dragon spawning in 45 seconds, this is already going to put EDG on soul point. We're only at 16 minutes into this game.
It's one of those classics, isn't it? The League of Legends problems that teams have. Not watching enough Bob the Builder, you know, lack of tweenies, all these kinds of
Teletubbies
classic
is personal favorite
issues.
of mine, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really good for, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what to do with that one, to be honest. It's not good for a lot. I think you should probably be practicing. Here we go. Big fight coming on through Showstopper onto Teacherma, but he walks away with his life. Knock up onto Meiko. Haymaker goes wide. Everyone's from WE surviving. Meiko misses with the face call. In goes Hope, though, trying to finish some players off. I don't know how on earth WE have survived this fight, but just about everything EDG did missed.
You can see, though, for WE side, that if you can get stuns onto Hope, you have the chance to take him down.
They're getting onto Missing. He has a stopwatch, though, and the Herald will fall before it charges. Missing fails the flash, and he'll be punished for it. Does go down. Kill to Hope there. But again, just one kill, and the Herald was denied.
They will be able to turn towards this Dragon, though, and yeah, Meiko's low, but you've got a Nidalee who's happy to heal up. You've got the just passive from the Sett as well, so this is going to be EDG happily taking a third Dragon with very little contest.
Just going to put them on Soul Point for an Infernal Soul, no less. Against a Nidalee, you don't want to lose Infernal Soul. Those spears are going to hit like a freight train, or as Wadid would say, like nukes. And we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if WE are ever going to be able to contest
a
Teacherma. He's just been found trying to do Grom. Aodi's quite happy to select that one for himself. And, well, I mean, certainly ended his world.
And the problem here is for WE, Morgan and beishang were supposed to be the ones to smooth over this nice early game. You know, you get nice plays towards the top side. Let's use Morgan's TP to make sure that no funny business is going on bot side. And Teacherma roaming around the map, but the second beishang started to fall behind, head went down, and there was nobody that was able to enact any sort of game plan for WE from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they got the first blood. You have to remember that it all started off super well. I mean, I don't know why Teacherma is this far up.
Yeah.
That was just, I don't know, punished for just walking up. But let's bear in mind, Morgan and beishang, they got the first blood. They made the play onto Aodi right at the very start of the game. But then at the same time, the bot lane for EDG just popped off on a whole different level. They went interstellar for that one. And ever since that moment, it felt like the morale was just broken for WE.
And it's actually why we've started to see a little bit more of the Enchanter support come in towards the bottom lane, where you can try and keep the likes of your AD carry, especially if you're going for this late game scaling like with Jiumeng. You go for, like even a Jan has seen a little bit of a creep up in popularity. We've seen the Karmas come in as well. And the whole idea is to poke and prod at these supports like Sett that struggle sometimes to find engages, but also just speed yourself out, keep yourselves at bay, and look to farm up towards the later stages. Unfortunately though, Jiumeng and Missing decided to try and fight fisticuffs, and it didn't really work out.
Yeah, it certainly didn't. I mean, ultimately that is one of the big strengths. This is one of the reasons you're locking Kalista in the first place, is those early game duels with the Hail of Blades. You're just able to stack those spears up so effectively and just finish people off. JunJia spots this ward in the end. 2.5 minutes until that Infernal Soul will be on the map for EDG. And the question is, I mentioned that Teacherma needs to scale up. I don't think he's going to be scaled in 2.5 minutes time.
The big win for WE though is off that mid lane play. The Rift Herald didn't actually get the charge onto the turret, so having that Bastion still standing makes it really irritating for EDG to try and accelerate this gold lead, or at least try and push in that little bit further. So as long as WE are able to hold on to this turret, or the longer they hold on for it, the more time it gets for them to build up the items that they need to. You can see Jiumeng has already got that Zeal and the Affinity Edge, and it's like they're looking for a scrap.
Yeah, Morgan wants to fight this one. Teacherma going in with the stun. It's not quite going to connect though. Morgan, spotted out, decides it's time to back away. Still 2 minutes till the Dragon, but mid tower is defended. That was ultimately the goal here. As you rightly say, keeping that Bastion alive. Meiko pulled in by Missing. Aftershock keeps him safe for now. Hope knocked up, but Missing just about gets away with his life. Meiko, haymaker to finish him off. Morgan drops as well. This is all going the way of EDG. Jiumeng desperate to dish out what damage is required. Teacherma's still there. And I don't think that this is a fight WE can really contest for.
Jiumeng doing a lot of damage in that fight though. Once you got the Moonlight Vigil out, health bars dropped on EDG. Meiko still looking for more though. I think at this stage EDG just back away. With the guns that Jiumeng has, he'll be able to wave clear away from this.
Yeah, we'll teach him all that as well. Bear in mind, Voice of Light available, so if they try and go for something like a dive, they can be forced away. But ultimately, 5 members strong, EDG will finally finish that tier 1 tower off. 1 minute until this Infernal Drake, and this could ultimately be the turning point for the game. This could be the deciding moment.
Oh, we got to see what are going to be the items that come to the board for both these squads. I mean, when you look at Hope, he's miles ahead of everyone. Already has 5 kills, 2 items completed, working on his 3rd. Same when you look towards Scout. Picking up this early Banshee's Veil, I really like too, because it just means that that pick potential we talked about from beishang and from Teacherma just really isn't going to come through very well. And here we go. Yes, Meiko gets caught out, but he's got so much safety as this set between not only his own inbuilt sustain, his own inbuilt shields, but just Hope being able to drag him out of fights whenever he wants as well.
God, that is so chaotic from a pro view perspective. I mean, Meiko doing a good job to keep track of the fight. You can see him trying to decide targets with his ult. Scout has been found. Stun comes on through. There's the follow-up and a shutdown onto the mid laner. Now, Meiko steps forward. He's going to get a pull onto Morgan, but not the stun. And Aodi stepped maybe a little too far on his own. They're going to on Aodi in the backline. He's desperately trying to do some work. Meiko's there, gets the stun. Hope dancing around the fight, but Morgan's onto him. Still survives. Voice of Light. Teacherma flashes forward to kill the AD carry. Aodi forced back. JunJia, desperate to get over the wall, will do so, and Aodi forced to flash.
Why are EDG taking that fight? They're 4 versus 5. The Dragon's gone. There's no reason for them to commit to that play. WE now, a massive shutdown goes over to Teacherma. They pick up the kills that might be able to help them just get that late game fight that they want.
Teacherma, the true Comet of Legend here, flashing forward to finish Hope off. And if Hope survives there, if Teacherma can't finish that kill, that is a one fight for EDG.
And now EDG, okay, Dragon has gone over to WE. Not the biggest of issues. Still a long way for WE to go. But this is definitely going to be the start of EDG at least getting some of these items. And if you continue to play like this as EDG, where you're walking in, not really getting vision in your favor, this pick style that EDG or WE have available to them could really put a wrench into the works. They need to play this a little bit closer to themselves, make sure that they're not showing their cards, and try and pick up the vision first before they look at this battle.
Yeah, Scout, I'd argue maybe a little cocky on that play, to be quite fair. Like, steps into the enemy jungle under the belief that it is their jungle at this stage. With the tier 2 still remaining, WE can contest for their half of the map still. But Baron is on the map now, and you can see EDG already trying to set up for that.
I'd love to see WE actually able to contest for this vision as EDG tries to put it down, because you can see already if you can catch out one of these members, EDG aren't particularly tanky. You should be able to finish them off, but unfortunately they're already just coming out of base too late.
Really important to mention, Morgan doesn't have his teleport available right now. Aodi does. They're both going to be on the bottom side of the map for now. So if EDG were to start a fight immediately, they could get support while WE couldn't, but you can see Morgan starting to move over. He's hovering around that blue buff.
The thing here for WE, though, is that they can just keep bouncing these waves. You can see they're kind of just moving in between the two of them, forcing them back. And EDG don't really have any way of solidifying this advantage because Teacherma can come across very quickly using that E. You've also got Morgan, whose TP is just about to be up. So these side waves are going to be in order. And as long as the rest of WE keep control of this jungle, don't allow EDG too much deep vision, they should be able to keep them at bay from this Baron. Well, EDG looking to start it up, see if they can draw WE in.
They want to try and start this one off, but I don't think they really want to commit to the actual Baron themselves. They want to try and force a fight. Teleport now being channeled by Morgan. WE happy to go for this fight. But beishang, in the meantime, has just been caught out and taken out as well. Teacherma now has to get the damage out. Voice of Light across the team. Hope dancing around, stacking up the Rens. Missing will be the next 1, 2, 4. Flashes away from Hope, but Morgan's going massive. So's Jiumeng as they're taking out this team. Hope here still alive. Jiumeng falls to a beautiful javelin. Get JunJia in the Olympics, because this man can throw.
And WE just threw that to start with. They end up losing beishang at the beginning. Missing's hook completely goes wide. And it was at that moment they knew that it had gone full disaster. EDG pick up the team fight win. They'll turn over towards this Baron gleefully. My word, that went so bad so quickly.
Yeah, and there was a moment there where I thought maybe they could turn it around because Jiumeng was popping off. The health bars were getting low for EDG, but Hope still survived, JunJia still survived, and that was all that mattered.
So great play for Meiko here to start things off. This is what prompted that TP, but now Missing tries to go aggressive, tries to make the play. That hook goes wide. He's way too deep. And one of the big things here that I want you to notice as well is just how long this Aatrox survives. He's got the Death Dance, and why it's such a popular item, because Jiumeng cannot take his health bar down at all.
He literally didn't do damage.
Yeah, and this is why Death Dance has become such a popular item, because it's a little bit silly.
I remember when the changes for Death Dance came out, I was like, that looks really good. I went and read it, and everyone was like, this is a terrible item now. I was like, I don't think if you read the same changes that I read, it looks real strong. And it's definitely living up to that. Dragon going to be spawning in 30 seconds here. And WE, they need a better fight than what we just saw.
I don't know if they're going to find one, to be honest. This time EDG have learned from their past errors. They're moving in nice and neatly together. Look at that beautiful line. The wards are going down. JunJia's just throwing in spears to see if he can pick off someone before this fight kicks off. But WE now trying to move in. We'll find out he actually separated.
Missing going to get a root down onto him, but they can't really kill him in the mean. See you later, Spider. Crushed underfoot. Morgan has to back away as well, and Hope saves his support. Missing now will be found out. And honestly, Dagda, this one is looking all but over as EDG walk over to their reward in the Infernal Soul.
Baroned up Infernal Soul as well. And honestly, I want to check out Meiko's damage after this game because he's been hurting as this Sett. 2-1 and 11 has set up so many plays for Hope as this Kalista. And now you got a Baroned up team that's pushing in while that Dragon's going down. This is EDG putting an absolute stomp into the early summer of LPL.
And beishang having such a rough game here on the Elise. Obviously his scoreboard isn't too bad, but these last 2 deaths, he has to check. He has to go forward. He can't just allow these objectives to go down, but when he does, the whole of EDG is waiting with open arms.
It's like a horror movie the entire time. Moving in, poking your nose.
Except the spider is the guy that's getting caught this
exactly,
time.
Yeah. It's going to be no Harry Potter where you're jumping around from the spider. It's instead this. I don't know how that works. I mean, it just feels like some weird alternate universe.
Aragog was a goodie, okay? Aragog was a goodie.
Fair.
Poor Hagrid, ultimately. He's the real loser in that story. Anyway, moving back to what's happening here. I mean, there's not that much to say about this replay. This was kind of just a goal difference, just visualized.
And again, it's Meiko being in great position. His positioning on this set has been impeccable, finding ways to wrap around and behind the enemy team, catch them off guard. And it's not always easy to do as a support because you're using your sweeper, especially around these objectives, to try and get vision control in the river, not trying to find your way to move around some of the vision control. But Meiko's been able to sniff out where every one of these wards is and to play around them perfectly.
So now we're getting to really difficult territory. We've been in really difficult territory for WE for a while at this stage.
It's only a small 9,000 gold lead. It's not that large.
It is. Well, we're getting to the point of a gold lead where the argument of scaling stops being a real argument because it doesn't matter if you finally hit your damage spikes if they're 2 items ahead of you.
That is a solid point, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see as this game continues. Because look, Aodi's on the bottom side. He's going to be completely uncontested. And with that Black Cleaver, Death Stance, and now working towards the GA, you'll need 2 people to deal with them. Yes, you can have Morgan who can wave clear a little bit against them, but definitely this is more Aodi favorite at this stage of the game, which is why you can see Teacherma and Morgan trying to move down there to deal with this split push, which opens up the opportunity for EDG in this top side to shove in completely unhindered.
I mean, honestly, the big question for me is, how on earth do you get on Hope in these fights? Like, unless he mispositions, unless he steps too far forward, there's no way to lock this Kalista down.
I don't even think there's going to be a fight for at least another little while. Because when I look at,
oh, he's been found! No, he got away with it!
Look at it go! Oh, I thought they were going to follow. I think there is an auto that's about to hit Hope. 3, 2, 1. Oh, no. Anyway, either way.
I think it hit. Oh, there it was. I just saw the very edge of it. It did nothing.
It's kind of been the story of WE this game. But EDG, anyway, like, look at the composition. Nidalee, you got Scout. These are 2 champions that do insanely well underneath these turrets. The poke that they can deliver, and even just being a nuisance as Jiumeng with his relatively short range is going to try and clear out these waves. If I'm EDG, I'm happy to just sit as this 3-man, 4-man unit, poke and prod at people underneath the towers until we get someone low, and just take any turret that comes in our direction.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind, it's a minute until Baron, right? It's 3 minutes until that Elder Dragon. There's no reason to try and just force things for the sake of forcing things when you could risk somebody dying, you could risk potentially losing that objective. Just go for the free deal in a minute. When that Baron spawns, set up your vision and take it safely.
And that's pretty much what we're seeing done already. But look at Meiko. He's hiding off in the wings, trying to see if he can play around that vision once again. With that Dead Man's Plate there as well, this is the build we see a lot coming through from the Sett supports because you just want to try and close that gap as quickly as possible. And the speed up that Dead Man's Plates offers is so massive in getting yourself into the right position. And any member of W that he picks up, maybe apart from Morgan, is going to be a win in his books because it's just about turning these fights into 4v5s and allowing EDG to continue on their victorious path.
Couldn't quite get the stun onto JunJia there. It means WE have to back away from this one. Scout would love to go for a stun, but Baron's on the map. And I think EDG now, they're just going to set up, try and get a trap on the go and wait for somebody to face check it.
I mean, they've already started it up. EDG are just happy to say, hey, look,
you got
WE be damned. Right? Yeah, Kalista, you got a Nidalee. Yeah, you're in pretty good shape here. Already at half health. WE now moving in, though. This is where it gets dicey.
5,000 on the Baron, and EDG back away. JunJia pulled in, but he has a Zhonya's. In the meantime, Jiumeng pulled back by Meiko, and everybody's peeling to deal with this set. I'm not sure this is the best target. Morgan pulled back on in. There's not much damage come out of EDG just yet. The rest of the carries weren't there.
It was actually a really smart play from Missing. He hooked onto JunJia, but used his ultimate onto Hope. So it just slowed down everyone on EDG from advancing. But WE couldn't even take out the support here. Meiko again, that phase rush and that Nimbus Cloak making him so fast and capable of just getting the hell out of that problem.
Honestly, WE just surviving that fight is a win in their books right now. 50 seconds until Elder and EDG, they know it. They want to get this Baron before any trades can come through.
And this is why Nidalee is so good. You can heal up now after that fight, turn back towards the Baron, and look at Nissim below half health. There's no.
They've got to be quick. They're against a Kalista right here. This might just go down before they can even contest. Aodi's on the side. Baron goes down. WE already low. This could be a disaster for Team WE. In they go, scan of the week. Oh my days, Morgan falls and Jiumeng against the world. And it looks like the world is about to be ended. Jiumeng falls double for JunJia. And a 21-5 victory for WE.
It was just an inevitable push from EDG at this stage. It's been long in the making. Kills on the bottom side of the map, setting up EDG for success. They played the mid-game so well. And after that Baron fight, EDG will pick up first game of LPL Summer 2020.
I mean, honestly, I'm impressed that WE held on as long as they did, but from the point where Hope got the 3 kills early on in the game, this has been all